Hello friends, welcome to Gyan Pradeep English classes. Today we will discuss the poem The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost of class 9 CBSE board. Robert Lee Frost, born on 26th March 1874, died on 29th January 1963, was an American poet. Frost's notable poems: New Hampshire, Fire and Ice, Nothing Gold Can Stay, Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening. You might have heard the very famous quote, "Woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep." This stanza has been taken from the poem Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening. The Road Not Taken. We'll see the introduction to the poem first. In the poem, The Road Not Taken, the road symbolizes our life. The poet says that the path that we don't choose in our life is the road not taken. He describes his feelings about that choice that he had left in the past. The path which we choose decides our future, our destination. The important message that the poet wants to give is that the choice that we make has an impact in our future, and if we make a wrong choice, we regret it but cannot go back to it. So, we must be wise while making choices. Before we go to the explanation of the poem, we will see the vocabulary. Diverged means separated and took a different direction. When the road is divided into two roads, it is called diverged. Undergrowth means dense growth of plants and bushes. Wanted where he had not been used. Hence means here in the future. Yellow-wood means a forest with decomposing leaves. Fair, as good as the other one. Claim means better option. Grassy means unused. Trodden means walked over. Sigh means deep breath. Now let us see the poem. The Road Not Taken. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both, and be one traveller long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth. In the first stanza, the poet says, once he was walking down a road, he came across a diversion. The poet says he was one person, so he could travel only on one road. The poet says the forest was yellow, which means the leaves of the trees were wearing or drying up. The poet kept standing and stared at the path. It happens in our life also. When we have choices and we have to choose one out of them, sometimes we face this situation. The second stanza, then took the other, just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear. Though as for that the passing there had worn them really about the same. The poet kept looking at one path. In the second stanza, the poet kept looking at one path for a long time, but started walking on another path. The path was grassy and unused, so he chose the road. And wanted where here means it was not walked over by many people. Even in our life, we take any path or option but all of them have the same benefits and challenges. Coming to stanza 3. And both the morning equally lay in leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day, yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. Let us see the explanation of stanza 3. The poet says that both the paths were similar that morning. Both had leaves on them. No one had stepped on them. The leaves were still green. The poet also decided to keep the other road for another day. Similarly, in our life, we choose an option and keep on moving and never come back. Coming to stanza 4, I shall be telling this with a sigh. Somewhere ages and ages hence, two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less travelled by, and that has made all the difference. In stanza 4, the poet says that in the future he will take a deep breath and say that once he reached such a point in his life, there were two options. He chose one and that decided his future. That same thing happens in our life. So we should be wise and careful while making decision. Next, literary devices used in the poem. Students, you might be very new to these literary devices. I will take another class to describe the literary devices individually. In this poem, the rhyming scheme is A, B, A, A, B. Each stanza is consisting of 5 lines. The rhyming scheme is A, B, A, A, B. Symbolism. In this poem, two roads which represents two or more choices in our life. Anaphora is another literary device which means repetition of a particular word in more than one sentence. And is repeated at the beginning of lines 2, 3 and 4. This type of use is called anaphora. Alliteration means repetition of consonant sound. In this poem, wanted where, in these two words W sound is repeated. Second one, first for, F sound is repeated. Third one, though that, the sound is repeated. Fifth literary device, repetition. Ages is repeated. Two roads diverged in a wood. This sentence is also repeated in stanza 1 and 4. So these are the literary devices used in this poem. Next we will see the question answer. Question number 1. Where does the traveler find himself? What problem does he face? Answer. The traveler finds himself standing on a fork in the path. He is in a problem as he must choose one path and is unable to decide which one to choose. Question number 2. Discuss what these phrases mean to you. Meaning of the phrases given. A yellow wood. Answer. Yellow wood refers to the forest which has withering leaves as in the season of autumn. It represents a world full of aging people. Number 2. It was grassy and wanted where. This phrase means that the path had a lot of grass on it. This means it had not been worked over by many people. It had to be worn out by the steps of the people who worked on it. Third, the passing there. It means that when he walked over the path that he had chosen. Next, fourth one. Leaves no step had trodden black. It means that no one had walked over the leaves as they were still green. If they had been walked over, they would have turned black. Fifth one. How way leads on to way. It means that as we walk on a path, we come across more options and make choices further. We keep on walking ahead on that way. Question number 3. Is there any difference between the two roads as the poet describes them? In stanzas 2 and 3. Answer. The two paths were similar. In the beginning, the poet felt that one of them was grassy and had not been walked over by many people, but when he walked on it for some distance, he realized that it was like the other road. In the last two lines of the poem, what is the difference between the two roads? Answer. Here again the poet talks of his initial decision when he thought that the roads were different and chose the one that had been walked over by a lesser number of people. With this, we complete this poem. Thank you very much. Signing out from Gyan Pradeep. Thank you.